right, good afternoon. Sorry it took me so long to get set up. Oops. So, welcome to Field Biology, Field Studies in the Southwest. It looks like we got 4 out of 5 of our students, which is good. So part of what we're going to do after I give just a general introduction is we're going to put our schedules together, and I have Emily's schedule, so we can find another time that all of us can get together. So most of you guys have had me for class already. This is a unique type of class because we're going to meet once a week before we actually go to Arizona. And let's see. Basically, it's a really interesting class. It was my favorite class when I was an undergraduate, and I took it again as a master's student as an advanced course, and then as a lecturer, I was a teaching associate for it twice with my master's advisor after I had graduated. So he has basically sent me everything for the course. So I'm trying to give him a lot of credit for it. We're going to change it too, because we have the opportunity. Back when I took it, it was just 1 week. You went there and it was a crash course into Arizona. It was a little bit too stressful. So what we're going to do this semester is we're going to do some preparation before we go so that we can really, really enjoy everything while we're there. So basically, the important things, you're going to be able to describe how the geology, climate, topography, ecological interactions are going to contribute to what is essentially a biodiversity hotspot. It is the most diverse area in the entire United States. So you might be thinking, what? It's in a desert, but it's in a really amazing desert. You're going to learn a lot about the natural history of the common and important plants. And more interestingly, while we're out there, you're going to get a chance to design and conduct ecological research. So as we get closer to leaving, we'll talk a little bit more. We're going to focus on competition mainly, because in the desert, what do you think plants are often competing for? Water, right? Water and space and all kinds of different things. And those are easy things to measure. But when I went, there were less opportunities than there are now. We might even be able to go and see the stars at a local observatory. We just need to see about getting access. It didn't even exist the last time I was there 13 years ago. There's a new dorm there. I'll tell you about the station in a little bit. But basically, you're going to collect, analyze, and interpret ecological data. We're going to do a little bit of a crash course in baby biostats. So anyone here had biostats already? How about basic statistics of some kind? Okay. And if you haven't, that's okay. I'm just going to give you some basic tools to understand your data and to be able to interpret your results. You're going to give oral presentations of your research, and you're going to maintain an in-depth field research notebook. So I actually have mine, and I'll bring it next week so you guys can see it. It's back in 2001, so it's kind of funny to go back and read it. And then, instead of a final exam, what I want you guys to do is at least organize a CES event to present the trip to the campus community, the highlights of the trip, things that you think are interesting. Are there any artists here who are kind of artistic, good at videos or anything like that? Because alternatively, what we could do is we could come up with a promotional video so that we can advertise the course that way as well. But while you're out there, I think you want to bring your digital cameras, and when we're out there, your cell phones aren't going to work other than just a camera. We are going to be very remote. But it's very safe. It's run by the Museum of Natural History. All right. So basically, the field portion is going to begin on Sunday, February 26th, and we're going to start at the Arizona Sonoran Desert Museum. It's a really great place. We're going to spend all morning there. There's going to be a lot of plants and animals that you're likely to see, and it's a good time to take some notes in your field notebook and get to know all these organisms. And then we're going to drive to the Southwestern Research Station, and basically your cost is going to be $1,200. That includes airfare, it includes our rental car, and it includes room and board at the station, which is all your meals every day. We don't have to cook for ourselves, okay? And I need to swing it. I should be able to afford to buy snacks for us to have while we're at the station too. So we might take a quick shopping trip when we're in Tucson. Okay, so we will be leaving on the 25th. The reason we're not going directly to the Desert Research Station is I don't trust the airlines that we're not going to be delayed, and I want to make sure we have time at the Desert Museum. Our books. So hopefully, let's see, which one is it? Okay, hopefully this one, the Audubon Field Guide to the Southwestern States, is that available at the bookstore? She had some problems finding the books for this class. It is available through Amazon. You can get it used. I highly recommend it. It's just a very nice field guide. It's not going to be inclusive, so there will be a lot of species that aren't in it, but there's going to be a lot of groups of plants and animals that you'll be able to look up. So do make sure to get that. You don't absolutely need it until we get there. This is the book here that we had trouble finding, but you can get it used. Here it's $1.98 plus $3.99 shipping. And let's see, I brought my copy. I did order another one. It's not here yet in the mail. So if you guys want to pass it around, it's a really interesting book that talks a bit about people that have lived in the Portal area. So we're going to be in Portal, Arizona. And it's kind of, in some ways, it's a novel about people that originally owned, it used to be a ranch. So I think it's a fun read. It's not going to be a boring read, okay? It's not going to be super in-depth. And I'm going to wait until you guys have your books before we start to assign questions, okay? Let's see, clothing. We'll talk about this more. You may think, oh, we're in the desert. It's going to be nice and warm. Well, it's going to be February to early March, so we are coming back on March 4th. It will be cold, but it may be warm in the day too. So bring lots of different clothes, okay? Think layers. And it's not a fashion contest either, so don't wear anything that, you're not afraid to destroy in some way, because things happen. Okay, so here's a whole list. You guys are fine with prerequisites. This is just a general breakdown of grades. This number is not set in stone because it's going to kind of depend on opportunities that I find that'll help us prepare. But there's going to be some reading questions. There's a video for you guys to watch, a nice documentary by next week. I haven't posted those questions yet for the documentary. They will be there by Friday, okay? We're going to do some basic biostats assignments where I'm going to give you data. You're going to analyze it and tell me what it means. Okay, so I'll give you the tools to do that. I'll give an intro lecture 1 week, a small homework assignment, and then we'll work on some problems the next week. Ecology methods. So how many of you guys have had ecology? You're in and out. And I know that Alyssa's done some work with Dr. Marion and Dr. Loya as well. I think, yeah, you have to. So we're just going to do some very basic discussions of different methods that we might use to look at competition while we're out there, so that when we get out there, we're going to be like pros. We can just get going. There's going to be some ID assignments that you're going to do, because what I want you to do is I want you to look for the most common organisms that you're likely to see, so that you can come up with, it'll be a nice PowerPoint. If you've been in some of my other natural history classes or whatever, we make them as nice guides for ourselves so that we have our own field guide that we can look at and learn the animals. When we get to the station, the first 2 days we're going to kind of play around a little bit. We're going to go see some fossil beds, and we're going to go to the Chiricahua National Monument, and we're going to go up and see one of the relic stands of Engelmann spruce. There's a lot of different life zones in one very small area. It's a very special place. I know I keep saying that, but when you see it, you'll be just absolutely amazed. When we get there, you're going to get access to a really amazing collection of specimens. So those specimens that we look at, you'll have the first night and the next afternoon to kind of study some of them. We're going to take a little tiny lab practical while we're out there on the specimens. Okay, I'll make sure it's specimens that we've really seen when we're kind of playing around outside. But the ID assignment is going to help you a lot. And then there's 3 field projects. So because there's only 5 students, what I used to do, we used to have about a class of 12, and we would split it into 3 groups of 4 students, and they would do different projects. I thought since there's only 6 of us total, we would do the projects together, okay? And we'll talk about things that most interest us, and that way I could hang out with you guys and kind of guide you a little bit, because I know that we do have freshmen, we do have people with different backgrounds, and I want it to be a fun experience. I don't want it to be, like, oh my gosh, there's so much work. Because in the morning, we'll collect data every day. The afternoon, we will analyze the data, and then in the evening, you'll give a presentation. So you do need to bring your laptops and work on them together. You'll have to write a little abstract, and each day you'll do a new project. And we can decide if there's one project you think worked really well, but there was something wrong with it, because I'm going to kind of push you guys along a little bit. I want you to really work. I'll get you on the right track, but it's going to be ultimately what you put together. You can repeat one of the projects if you want, okay, based on feedback that you've gotten each night, and you can do it better. So I'm looking into what equipment is available at the station and what equipment I'm able to bring. So we might be able to do some really fun stuff. And then, of course, your CES event is your final exam. Yeah.
Are we presenting to other students or within our staff?
So because they're actually opening the station early for us, and I think it's mainly just going to be us and maybe the director and a couple people that run the station. So it's going to be really low key. Good practice, no stress. Good question. Okay, and then there's all this other stuff that I put in my syllabus just to, cover all bases, cheating, yada, 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 different class. I don't think it's even going to be an issue. So you can just read through that. This is our anticipated class schedule before we leave. So this week, we're going to I'm talking about the course now. This is the course introduction. And you guys have a Chiricahua Mountains documentary to watch before next week. Next week, we're going to work on ID assignments, the flora and the fauna of the Chiricahua Mountains. And you're going to put that together and present it to me in class. And I'll put together a template for you. And then we're going to start talking about field methods. And we're going to actually play around and conduct some of these field methods, either here or outside. I don't know, maybe inside because it's cold. Then we're going to do an intro to basic biostats. You'll have a homework assignment, and then we'll do some in-class problems. And then on February 21st, we're really going to get into competition in the desert environment, and we're going to start thinking about the framework for our projects so that while we're traveling, if I can get us seats together on the airplane, we could be nerding out, okay? So your fee for this class is going to show up fairly soon, okay? I'm just trying to get it set up with the business office, and when it appears, please make sure to pay the fee as soon as possible so I can actually reserve our flights and everything. We are going to stay in a hotel in Tucson for the first night, and we'll get a chance to see a little bit of Tucson. I'm trying to get us a good spot near the downtown. Some places are a little iffy, so I want us to be safe. So I'm still looking around for that. This is my doctoral advisor, Dr. Moriarty, which we always used to tease him about. He's one of my favorite people. So just a little bit about, I don't think this is going to be an issue. Just working together. If there's any accommodations or anything like that, just let me know, and maybe I'll figure it out with the lab practical. Pretty much that's the only thing that you're going to be under the gun, and I promise it won't be that bad. Okay, let's see. What else? I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the station. And Alyssa, did you come to that presentation, the CES?
I've
You have
I don't know where and why. I think that's for seminar.
for seminar. Okay, I apologize. It's going to be sort of like it, but you'll get a chance to see it again. This is just I'll turn off the lights here. This is what it can really look like out there. I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful place, and I don't know. This is me, I think, in 2001 when I was out there a while back. So the reason that this is such a special area is because it's basically a haven for evolution because of what are called sky islands. And basically because these islands, or because you have these mountains in the middle of the desert itself is kind of like an ocean that animals can't really cross, right? So you have all these organisms that are in the lusher mountains. So we're going to be up in the lusher mountains, but we'll get a chance to basically drive through some of the other sparser areas. I have a very short documentary, and Emily, I'll post a link for you.